Hey YouTube, I know I've been gone for so long. Y'all been telling me to make some more videos. I apologize. I just been living life, y'all. My last video, y'all know I graduated nursing school, so I've been being a nurse. I got married. I'm a mom now, so I just been nursing, wifing, momming, doing my thing. If you follow me on Instagram, you've been seeing all that. But if not, make sure y'all go follow me so you can stay updated with everything when I'm not on here. But yeah, so this video is long overdue. It's gonna be all things to nursing, how to become a nurse, how to get into nursing school, starting with what you do in high school to prepare, all the way to taking the NCLEX and studying for it, and all that good stuff. So I like jotted some stuff down, like on some mail, so I can kind of stay organized, because if not, I would be like all over the place. So starting with high school, I get a lot of DMs from a lot of young high school girls who don't have any guidance, no one that like went to college before them, so they have no idea where to start. This is for y'all. So in high school, keep your GPA up, keep your grades good, take the ACT as many times as it takes to get the highest score you can get. I took it 4 times, y'all. Don't want to tell y'all what I made. I'm gonna tell y'all. So it's okay, because look, I'm a nurse now, I'm doing my thing, so it don't even matter what I made. But I made a 19, a 20, a 20, and a 19. And I was like, you know what? Okay, that's it. Because I was like, whatever. I'm gonna apply for college anyway. So you apply for college, so like your junior or senior year, you want to start like looking into what college you want to go to. I chose, if you live where I live, I chose Northwestern in Louisiana. It's the #1 nursing school in the state, #4 in the country. Well, it was when I went to school. I don't know if it still is. So I chose them. But you want to go on college tours. They'll tell you all about the college. They'll show you the college. They'll show you the dorms. They'll tell you everything. You can ask all your questions about, the college specifically that you choose, because every college has different requirements. So yeah, my ACT score wasn't high enough for my school, but I went to like a senior day that they had, and I was able to take like a composite test, compass test, something like that, and I scored high enough to get accepted. So I got accepted into the college that I wanted to. I think my baby's crying. Okay, so you got accepted into college. Oh, or one thing I forgot about in high school, what you can do, what I did in high school is I took a CNA class. It was like an elective at the Career Center that my school offered. And that's not like necessary, but some people ask me what they can do to kind of get ahead in nursing school. So that CNA is like a tech, like an aide, like they just kind of clean up after the patients, and it's like the dirty work basically. But you learn how to like make the beds and change patients and change the beds with the patient still in the bed, and it's just kind of like the basic ground skills that you do like first level nursing school, which you learn in nursing school, but I already knew those skills, so I took the CNA class, so I was kind of ahead of my my peers. So that's kind of helpful, and it also kind of lets you know if you want to actually be a nurse or not, because you see and do like, nurses have to do that stuff too sometimes. You don't always have it take to do that stuff. Like where I work at, on the labor unit, we clean up our patients ourselves most of the time, especially on night shift. Our techs just kind of like stock the rooms, and they clean up sometimes, but like on weekends we do it ourselves. So you still have to know how to do it. And also you learn like terminology, and in my CNA class we learn like dosage calc, we learn some science stuff. So that's another thing you can do in high school to kind of help you get ahead in nursing school. Okay, so then once you get into college, you worry about your prereqs. And so in college, some people think that nursing school is like after college, but nursing school is college is like, it's all one thing. So the first, I did 3 semesters of prereqs, and then I did nursing school, like clinicals and everything. So the first year in a semester, I did my prereqs. During your prereqs, you want to make sure you keep your GPA as high as you can, because nursing school is very competitive. They only accept so many students a semester. So for my school, they accepted I think like 60 students a semester. So it's competitive. So it's based off your GPA, which it weighs the most, and then it's based off a TEAS test. Some schools do the TEAS test. It's like a capital all cap TEAS. Some schools do other standardized tests that you have to make a certain score on. So the school I went to, we did the TEAS test. I just used a book to study. It was like the TEAS test study book. I used that book, and I didn't study as much as I should have. I studied like a day or two before. I read through the book, but the book had like some exact questions that were on the test. If I would have studied the book like weeks in advance, then I probably would have scored higher. But I scored there's like a minimum score, then there's an average score, and then there was my score. So I was just like a little bit above average. And I was gonna retake it so that I could. People were scoring higher, and I was kind of discouraged. My GPA was really high, so that was how I got accepted. Also, I applied for the spring semester, so more people apply for the fall. So applying for spring kind of gives you a little bit of an advantage when applying for nursing school, so that is what I did, and I got accepted. So on the TEAS test, just for reference, the minimum score is 58. The average score of students that were accepted the previous semester was a 64, and I scored a 65. People were scoring like 70s and 80s, but I mean, my GPA was like a 3.4, and so I got in the first time. I took the TEAS test the first time I applied. So that's how you get into nursing school. You just do your work. Some study tips for prereqs. Prereqs is just like you do your basic, your math, your English, your history, some sciences, anatomy, chemistry, microbiology, labs, things like that. You can study kind of like you did in high school. If you studied in high school, some people did it. But you can use like note cards. You can go through and highlight your book. You can rewrite your notes. You can read over your notes. When I was in college, like for prereqs, I would like study a day or two before the test, which isn't recommended. That's what I did. So you want to make sure you stay organized, stay on top of your work, stay ahead of your work. Pray it works, and stick it out. Because in my opinion, prereqs is a lot harder than actual nursing school. Prereqs is kind of like the way to weed out the weak, in my opinion. So once you get to nursing school, it's not easy, but I feel like it's easier than prereqs. Like the sciences, you don't like have to know like all that science. Like you don't gotta know every bone in the body. You don't gotta know every muscle. You don't gotta know every vein, every artery, where it is. Like you have to know the main ones. You have to be familiar with it, but you don't have to know like you doing prereqs. You gotta know every artery, every vein, every bone, every muscle. You don't gotta remember all that stuff. So that's good. But yeah, so I think that's it for prereqs. And then to actual nursing school. So once you're in actual nursing school, for my school, they sent us like this big email after we got accepted, and they were like saying like, you know, once you're in, you're pretty much bound to graduate. Like at my school, they make sure you don't get behind. They make sure, you know, if you score low, they meet with you. They go over test taking tips. They go over study tips. They were really good with all of that, making sure, you know, you graduated. But if your school isn't like that, so some study tips that I did was I recorded all my lectures. So on my phone, I would just record my lectures at the beginning of the class, and then after class, I would go home and listen to the lecture the same day. Like first I would go home, I would eat, take a nap or something, and then later that night, I would listen to the lecture. Any notes that I missed while the teacher was talking, if she was talking fast, I would rewrite, I would, you know, fill those in. I would look at the book, and I would highlight everything that we discussed and kind of, you know, read as I was highlighting. I would use the book that we had for whatever class. And in my school, we used ATI. So it's like a computer-based learning tool for like practicing for the NCLEX. And it comes with books. So I would use whatever ATI book was associated with the topic. I would use the book that was with the class, and then I would use this NCLEX study book. And I would go through and highlight in all three of those books. I would read, highlight, and do the practice questions at the end of each chapter, each section. I would do those questions and read like the rationale, so why I was right, why I was wrong, for each topic. So that really helped. Some people rewrote their notes. I tried that. It does work, but it's too tedious for me, so I didn't do that. So you have to figure out what study technique works best for you. So for me, I love to record my lectures. You can listen to them as many times as you need to. So the same day of the lecture, you want to go home, listen to it, you know, look in your books, and then next day, same thing. So you're not waiting until the day before the test or a few days before the test to study for it. You've been studying this whole 2 weeks before the test, and so when it's time to study, like before the test, you're kind of like reviewing everything. You know what I mean? You're not cramming everything in at one time. What was I gonna say? I don't know. Anyway, when it comes to so in nursing school and my clinical, we have 5 levels. So first level is like med-surg, it's just the basic foundation, fundamentals of everything. In clinical, we went like once a week, and we just did like bed baths, patient care, kind of helping out. I think we were able to give like PO, like by mouth pills, and I think we might have been able to give shots toward the end of the semester. And then second level was also med-surg, so we could like give shots, we could start IVs, we could do a lot more. And then third level was OB and peds, which was my favorite. I love the babies, I love the kids. And I'll get into, you know, my choice of what nurse I wanted to be a little bit later. And then fourth level was psych and mental health. And fifth level was our preceptorship. So we broke down a level of 1 to 15, what unit we wanted to like work on as a student, and it was based off your GPA. So yeah, those were the 5 levels. And so you get to experience each level, and you see what you like more. So some people want to be a certain nurse in the beginning, but then they actually go through that rotation and then they change their mind and they want to do something else based off, you know, the rotation that they did. Okay, so when it comes to I think second level we took pharmacology, which is all the medications and what they're for and the routes and the dosages and all that. That is okay for no cards, but everything else in nursing school is not. You can't really use no card because it's not memorization type of things where you can like write something on the front and write something on the back. It's not like black and white questions. It's how to take care of people. It's what would you do in this situation. It's patient care, you know, medical skills. It's not really stuff like that. So that's why you have to read your book, you have to listen to your lecture, you have to do practice questions. You can't really do no cards. That doesn't really work for anything except for pharmacology, and that's facts, okay? And then when it comes to test taking skills, the only thing that I remember is that there is more than one right answer. Always, there's always more than one right answer. So you have to pick the one that is most right. Pick the one that is the best answer. That's the most annoying thing about the questions in nursing school, because it's like, this is right, this is right, this is right. Which one is the most right? So, there were other, but I don't remember because I graduated over a year ago. So I just dropped the ball on this video. I meant to do it when I graduated a year ago, but I didn't feel like it. So there's plenty of other videos that have test taking tips. My school is where I learned my test taking tips from, so hopefully your teachers will tell you how to take their tests. But just know, pick the one that's most right. There's other little things, but basically you just need to study. Studying is more important, because you need to know the information. Next I will talk about, somebody asked me on Instagram. I did a post about questions for this video, but then I decided to go ahead and do the video now. So I only got a few questions. I didn't let it stay up for a whole day. So if I miss any questions, I'll do them in another video, or you can leave some more below and I'll do another video of like frequently asked questions for nursing. And somebody did ask me how I decided on what unit I wanted to work on. So when I was younger, another thing I want to add is that you can always change what type of nurse you are. You're not stuck on one unit for your whole career. You can be a labor and delivery nurse, you can be a nursery nurse, you can be a NICU nurse, you can be an ER nurse, you can be an ICU nurse, you can be a burn unit nurse, you can be a geriatric nurse. There's so many different types of nurses that you can be, so many different units you can work on. You're never bored with nursing as a profession, which is why I love it. Love the babies. I always wanted to work with babies. I always knew I wanted to work with babies. Like I knew. There was never a question of where I wanted to be when I grew up, where I wanted to work. I said I want to work in a nursery with the newborn babies. Well, yeah, I didn't want to work in a nursery. But when I went through nursing school and I went to the nursery, I realized that they didn't keep babies in the nursery anymore. They do couplet care. They do, baby friendly. So they want the babies in the rooms with the moms. They want the moms and babies bonding as much as possible. So whenever a baby's in a nursery, it's rare. I mean, sometimes there's a lot of babies in there because, you admit them in the nursery. They come there to get their shots, their medicines, their bath, if they need anything like more, like anything like more special needs, more hands-on, like do they need to be in there to be observed for longer than they'll be in there, but most of the time they're with the mom. And it was just kind of boring. Like there was like 2 babies at a time, you hold the baby, and that was it. So I would definitely do that when I'm older and I'm tired of being so not stressed out per se, but just so worked. So it's just I work on a really high risk unit, and a lot goes on. Like it's intense. So when I'm tired of all this intensity, then I'll probably go to something chill like that where you can watch Netflix and hold babies. But right now I don't want to do that. And then I was going to do NICU because NICU, the babies are there all the time and you can take care of them. And at first I didn't want to do NICU because I thought the babies were too sick and they were too small. But once I actually did the rotation, I realized no, there's still some of them in the NICU where you can pick them up, you can feed them, you can bathe them. Some are hooked up to tubes and everything. But I mean, they're still precious. I still love the babies. So I still will do NICU, but I started off on a labor unit because like I told y'all before, we rank on a scale of 1 to 15 what unit we want to go to. So my 1 through 4 was like NICU and then the labor unit because I mean they're still babies. So I was like, I'll just put that next. And then so I got my number 4 choice. And then I didn't want the labor unit at first because the hospital that I originally did clinical at, it was very slow paced and it wasn't a lot of patients there. But the hospital that I actually got my preceptorship at was a very high risk hospital. It was very busy. It was like they took any insurance, so it was everybody could come there. No insurance, low insurance, whatever the case may be. So it was a lot busier. You get a lot more experience there. It's very busy, very high risk, very intense, a whole lot to learn. I know a lot of times I got the advice in nursing school to start on med-surg, so you can master your foundation skills. But then I also got the advice to if you don't like med-surg, you think you're gonna be miserable working there, then don't do it. And so I was like, well, I'm not doing it because I didn't like med-surg. I don't like to work with adults, even though I work with adults now. But it's just women and then it's babies. So yeah, I really loved that labor unit. Once I did my preceptorship on that unit, I was like, I think I want to work here once I graduate because I mean, you get a lot of med surg, like you get IPs, you get high blood pressure, you get diabetes, you get some of everything there. So I was like, I'll do this for like a year and then I'll do nursery and then I'll do NICU, or then I'll do NICU and then I'll do nursery. Wow. But yeah, once I started, I loved it like as a student, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. And then when I became a nurse, I loved it on orientation. And then when I became a big girl nurse on the night shift, I was like a deer in the headlights. Like the first 6 months is the hardest. But after that, I loved it. I knew what I was doing. It just was so much to learn, so much to catch on to, so much to remember. You graduate, you think you know everything, and then you realize you don't know anything. You really learn how to be a nurse once you work on your actual unit. Before that, you just learn the basics, and you think it's so much, but it's really just the basics. Okay, so on to the NCLEX. Okay, so I need to add right here, I didn't even explain what the NCLEX was. The NCLEX is basically the biggest test of your life to get the RN credentials. So when you graduate from college, you have your degree. You have your Bachelor's of Science in Nursing or your Associates if you get the 2-year degree. Yeah, so you have your degree, your BSN at the end of your name. And then once you take the NCLEX, that is how you become a registered nurse. You pass that to get your RN. So once you graduate, you're not a nurse yet. You just have a degree. The NCLEX gives you your credentials. Okay. The way I studied for NCLEX is very, very simple. I was lazy once I graduated, so I didn't feel like doing a whole lot of studying. Me and my friends, we 4 of us we split the price for UWorld. It's like an app where you take a whole bunch of practice questions, and I just did questions every day for a month. So you want to do like 50 to 100 questions every day for like the month before you take the NCLEX. Do as many questions as you can. That was what I did. I passed the first time. I did have like 160 something questions, but yeah. That was all I did for the NCLEX. I can't do a whole video on that because that was all I did. So yeah. Okay, I'm just add this in real quick. Somebody asked me what the schedule is like. I don't know if I touched on real clearly how it works. So like I said, the first 3 years were prereqs, right? So math, science, English, all the basic classes, and then the last semester you do like leading into nursing school classes, like it's like pathophysiology, nursing as a profession. And I think there was one more, I don't remember. I think it was just those. And you do like medical terminology. So there's 3 semesters of that, so a year and a half of that, and then the rest of it. So I graduated high school in 2014. I graduated school in December 2017. So it was almost 4 years, but it was like 3 years in a semester. So the first year in a semester, whatever, we'll say 2 years prereqs, 2 years nursing school, right? Which is, so like some people do the full 2 years on campus. I was gonna do that at first, but then I decided to just go ahead and get it out of the way a little bit earlier. I did go to nursing school for 1 summer, which is how I graduated a semester earlier than everybody else that graduated high school in 2014. Okay, so yeah, it's regular college life for that first 2 years, or that first year in a semester, and then after that it's nursing school. You start clinical, like at the beginning of school you have classes, like when the semester first starts you have classes for like, let's say a month. I don't really remember, let's just go with a month, and then you do clinical 1 day a week, first level, and then it's like 2 days a week every other level, I want to say. That was so long. I should have been in this video because I really don't remember, but I think it was like 2 days a week for every other level. And then you would have like lectures, like 1 class a day, but it would be for like 2 or 3 hours a day. It's not a super demanding schedule. I know people will ask me if they could work in nursing school, and I did work. I would work once a month at first, and I started working every weekend. Some people worked every day. Some people had families. Some people had 4 kids, and they worked a full-time job, and they work nights, or whatever you got to do is possible. Some people say you can't work. Like, if you can't work, you can't work. If you have to, then you can still do it. You know what I mean? It's possible. You just gotta be more, like, I didn't want to work that much, just because I wanted to focus more on studying. And I didn't have to work a full-time job. I didn't have kids. Some people did, and they still graduated. So it's just really whatever you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do, and you gotta do it. Okay, you gotta do it. Yeah. So you can work. You just gotta study at work. I know some people say they will listen to the lectures in their headphones while they were working. Sometimes when I was at work, I would look over my notes. So, you know, you just gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. So if you gotta do it, then you can do it. Yeah. Okay, second level, in my opinion, was the hardest. Like, that's when I really had to, like, buckle down and study and get it together and study every single day. Every day. You don't have a life at nursing school. There's no life. Your life is gone. There's no life. Some people did still, like, party and, like, you know, do stuff with their friends. I don't know how, but I didn't have a life. I eat, sleep, study, repeat. Go to school, go to work. That's it. There's no life. I think I'm going to end that now, there. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll do another video. If there's anything that I missed in this one, hopefully I covered everything. Hopefully I answered all y'all's questions. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I will be trying to make more videos very, very soon. Thanks. Bye.